Hi, right, done a bit more work on the exception handling in the sign up screen stroke GRPC module. So on the screen, I can't see it because I hit it. So the application, come on, there you go. So we're using this auth state to basically, this is the main.dart page, I think, which is going to determine what to render, which widget to render, based on the auth state. So all of these different states are going to either render the login screen or the working screen, which is like the little spinny thing, or the sign up screen, or an error, or something. We'll handle the error a bit later on. So, but the real magic is now happening. If you are looking on the sign up screen, which has got the username and password and the sign in buttons, which will look like this. So we just change the state and it will render that. When we press this button to submit it, all it's going to do on that screen is push out this event type to sorry, that's the one for cancel. So when you press cancel, it's going to say auth logged out event, and then the main screen will receive that and say auth logged out. It's just going to show you the login screen. But if we press signing up event, then this event takes the user, so that's going to be basically a new user with the name from the text field. And when it receives that auth signing up event, you know, this screen doesn't handle events. All it knows about is state. That's because the auth block is the thing that is going to receive that event. And that is going to say, first thing you're going to do is to emit the auth signing up state. And that will immediately tell this to re-render and say, oh, the state's changed. Auth signing up is going to show the working screen, which is the little spinny. And then it's going to get on to this bit. So this is the bit I've been really changing. So at least you get some nice feedback to say I'm doing something. So it's going to run this function and pass along the event that's been passed in. And again, inside that, it's going to have your user with, I think, as .u. But it's also going to pass off the emitter to sign up user. So sign up user is just down here. It's a future void, so it doesn't actually return anything, but it's going to complete at some point in the future, and that's going to receive in this event, and it's going to receive in this emitter. So it's running async. First thing we're going to do is we're going to define a late final response. So we're going to want to push that back, and we're doing it there because we're actually going to be instantiating it inside this try block. So this is the new bit. This is going to make the back end call, and if for whatever reason that fails, i.e. if the back end server is down, which it is now, and then it's going to catch that inside here and say, ah, okay, it's something failed. So using the emitter that was passed to it, it's going to emit some more events. And this is, sorry, it's going to emit the auth sign up error, and it's going to pass in a response object, which we've just defined up here. Actually, it's not that one. This is just a brand new one because it's failed, which is going to contain the coda -1 and then the error message that you've actually got, along with the user as well. And then it's going to drop out of there. If everything was fine, it's great. We're going to use this response to I check the back end response if it managed to speak to the back end server, but there was an issue, i.e. duplicate user or something, then you're still going to get that error, and then it will go back and render the login screen in here, and the sign up screen error. Auth sign up error is going to render the sign up screen, but with the response as well, so it can render what the problem was. And if all went well, great, just change the state to auth loaded using the user that's come back from the server, and auth loaded is going to drop into this block, which is really the rest of the application. First thing that this thing does when it's instantiated, when you want to use the auth block, which is going to be inside main here, is it's going to run this bit of code to go and grab a new auth repository from the GRPC repo. And the GRPC repo is just going to, it defines up here a convenient 1 second delay, which we can use on some button presses to simulate some time it's taking rather than making it immediate. It's really useful for development, but also just when things are too quick, it just seems, I don't know, there's a human element to something. A 1 second wait is completely acceptable. Anyway, but then we're going to define a late final. I don't even think it needs to be late anymore, does it? I think it can just be, yeah, it's just defining it there, because this doesn't actually hit the server. It's just saying this is everything you need to hit the server. And that's the empty constructor. So coming back to the auth block, now we have this thing in here ready to go should we need it. The auth block is now listening on these events, and when you get the event emitted up, it's going to ultimately run this function, which we've already covered, and that's obviously using the auth repository. So does it work? I hope so, after all that build up. So if we come over to sign up, new user, put in some name. Now the server's down at the moment. I'm not going to put a password because we haven't even done that part. If I click sign up, changes the state to the spinner. Obviously it couldn't connect, the exception's called, it's handled, and here's the nasty response that we've got back. Now as a developer, it's really useful knowing that. As a standard user, it's going to be just garbage, but also doesn't look very professional. So I think in the future I'll work out a way of having developers the ability to see that information, but regular users, it's basically going to be, yeah, we couldn't connect to the internet, or because if we can, we'll get a slightly different error back from the server if it should still fail. So yeah, that's about it for that video. It's obviously going to make all of these calls a little bit more verbose, and perhaps we could create a function around all of this to do a lot of the same stuff. All we're really going to be saving is the the try catch maybe, but the events on there. We could pass the emitter in. I don't know. I think it's not too bad. This bit's going to be different based on what you want to do. But yeah, I've also added in an extra. If I go onto the proto definition, I added a check health, which takes a void, which is a nothing, but you still need something to say it's a nothing, and returns a response. And then on the Go code, there is a health file, which is going to have that GRPC call in it, and it's just going to not even hit any other databases. It's just like, yeah, I'm getting my health checked, and I'm going to respond okay. Not actually calling that at the moment, but we may well find that useful at some point. Potentially we could have something running every couple of seconds that checks to see if it's still, online, and then renders something that says you're offline. Maybe we'll do that. I'm not sure if that's a particularly efficient thing to do, especially if it starts to scale out. So yeah, probably set something up so we can sign in as different users and take the password, maybe, just to sort of close up the whole authentication piece off. Yeah, we'll keep it sweet. Cool. Thank you.